Cheers, brother.
Back at the flat track factory.
Yeah.
We want this Rotax to rev
What
like it's meant, like it was designed to rev.
No, it wasn't. It never was designed to rev.
I had to call an emergency team meeting, multi-purpose.
That's what I heard. Part of it, I don't even know what's going on. I think you're going to ambush me on something, aren't you?
Yeah, we got to talk Rotax. Also got to do some work on my bike. Just rode it yesterday up at Team Fun Compound up in Yadkinville. That little short track we love to ride. That was sick. Been practicing my right-handers. Get ready for Rossi's.
Yeah, exciting.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see that content.
Yeah, Rossi's is always good. So I go there January 7th, race like the 10th. But yeah, the right-handers are always tough for me out there. Like those guys are so good in the right-handers, so I try and work on them. Just burned the right side of the tire completely off. Dunlop R5, just put in probably a couple hundred laps yesterday. So burn the tire off. We got to throw another Dunlop on there. Saving the new one we got for the new Dunlop R3 for the Rotax.
I haven't seen you sign the contract yet, though.
Well, we got to talk about that.
I'm sure we do.
Also got to get some work done on my bike, so got to do that. Putting on this new sharp foot peg.
That's fancy, like titanium or something?
Yeah, titanium. But I mainly got it just because the stock one is like completely wore out, and just trying to find a replacement. I was just got the titanium.
Fancy. In other words, you want me to take the wheel off, is what you're saying.
Oh, I can take the wheel off. Like, I don't want you to hurt your back, old man. Oh my God, who tightened this? Need some too, actually. Thanks.
Shane Fox would not be impressed.
My dad would always say, hands heal, gloves don't. Get all my lines from my dad.
I'm too pretty to get dirty.
Debatable.
Watching you work on stuff is always kind of entertaining. I'm just wondering what's going to get broken and if you're going to be injured.
Oh, this is nice. A little bendy one.
Found tool at the racetrack. Cool thing about racing at car tracks is they leave their tools in their race car and get on the racetrack.
Do they leave a bunch of trash usually too?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
See, that is about 10 psi right there.
Perfect.
All right. Did you do another Shiner Bach, or what are we drinking tonight?
Yeah, Shiner. I'm addicted, man. I can't stop.
I'm gonna have to
give
give
it a grab.
What's that? Yeah, the hands, especially if it's cold in winter. Everything's hard, hurts.
Usually it's easier to stick it in when it's hard, but this is one of those cases where it's the opposite.
Maybe we gotta spit on it. So when did they start racing the Rotaxes?
Well, I wasn't around at the time. I was still a tiny kid, but I think Ron started, they imported them and started in 1982, I believe was the first year.
Did they start making like big bores, like 680s? Pretty.
No. I didn't even know such a thing existed until after I had already retired and went to college. So 614 was kind of the rule forever and ever. And then I guess when the dirt bikes came into being, they tried to restrict the Rotaxes down, which was kind of stupid because obviously they're air cooled, right? So they're never going to make the same compression. But in your era, weren't they down to like 450s or something? Rotax 450s?
I mean, eventually, I guess, in FUSA, but yeah, it started off in my era at 600s briefly, and then, I mean, by the time I was pro, it was 505s, and then eventually 450s.
And then I turned junior in 1990 because I desperately wanted to get with the juniors. Also, that was the last year they raced Ascot, and there was no Pro-Ams, so it was junior expert only. So that was my first race in 1990 as a junior. My hero moment.
That's sick.
Yeah, that's so good.
That's so cool to get to race Ascot.
God.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have I made you listen to that dumb story? You know how much I love it.
Everybody with their Ascot stories. I'm too young for Ascot.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
The track was just so fast, so much fun, so wide. and I'll put the proper pressure in. You're gonna try to ride, right?
I actually leave them typically like really high pressure
Really?
after we change them, just to like make sure they're fully round.
Okay. That maybe might those off-brand junk tires like Midas that you run, but these Dunlops they don't need that.
More of a Dunlop guy now as well.
I'm just breaking your balls.
Yeah, we brought Dunlop on for a sponsor for the Southeast Flat Track season opener, February.
Yeah. That was nice of them to kind of partner up with you.
Yeah, we're doing two free 19-inch, so like two rear DT3s, and then a 17-inch one for the kids. So for like, I'll give them to like the winners of like 3 classes or something. All right, so talking about the Rotax, she's been around forever.
Yeah.
They started making them 680s and one probably the 90s or something.
Yeah, that definitely woke them up, because the 450s keep getting faster and faster and faster. And then the Outlaw stuff, of course, we wouldn't later.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a tire, but it's definitely a lot better. It's still like a little warm. It's a 3.2 though, so it should hook up a little better than this 5. It's completely shot. Anyways, back to the Rotax. They've been making these things forever. We've been racing them forever.
Yeah.
And
kind of an icon.
And then when did you guys start running? Like you started with the rev limiter thing, right?
Yeah. So Eli and Elliot at Elliot Power Sports. Elliot Iverson was Ron Wood's kind of right-hand man there forever and ever when I was a kid growing up. And then I guess Ron kind of retired or whatever. Elliot started his own business, his little stuff. I was, a long-time customer and, one of the more active Rotax guys. So they approached me and said, hey, do you want to try out this electronic ignition? That's kind of how that whole thing started. So we threw that thing on and I'm in love with it now.
Why do you like it?
Well, first thing is you can make the bike idle like a Toyota Camry because you can adjust the ignition curve like a modern car or like a modern motorcycle. Instead of the old Rotax where you just had a timer, it would be at one set advance, and then after a certain number of crank revolutions, it would switch to the other, which is great for a 35 horsepower dirt bike. But when you've got super high compression and mega cam in it, it just doesn't work on a race bike. So they would stall and pop and sputter and, roast the exhaust valves, and they're glowing the head pipes just because the timing was off. First thing. And then secondly, as you don't seem to understand, once you get that gigantic 680 with that huge heavy piston, the crankshaft can't take revving so much. So you've got to stop that from revving. Otherwise, the crank bends, then the cases bend, then you're done. So it's not that I love the rev limiter. It's that I love having an engine that hauls ass and doesn't break.
Right. You don't think like the starting and stopping of the rev limiter, like hitting, is actually causing maybe more damage than harm because it's like going that big old piston having to deal with.
Not that I'm way out of my depth. I've never heard of that.
Well, so the point is, like we've been racing these Rotaxes forever. Mm-hmm. Guys like Chris Carr, Will Davis, all the old legends raced them. They raced the big ones with a lot of success, and you could just hear them, just like me on the XR this year on the XR. No rev limiter, just crisp and just. I mean, the XR is like arguably worth at least twice a Rotax, and we don't got no rev limiter, and it just revs, and once it starts revving higher, it starts working so good, and you can just listen to it sing, and it sounds so good. This one, it's like just as soon as the motor starts waking up.
It feels like it's...
As soon as it starts coming alive, I mean, you guys have heard it on this onboard. It's like as soon as it starts working and revving and coming alive, it's hitting the chip, and it's just killing it. Like I've been getting some complaints from some of the viewers. Y'all need to back me up here.
No, you don't.
Back me up in the comments, please. We don't want to hear it hitting a limiter once the thing starts running healthy. We're only on this earth for so long. We got these nice race bikes. We gotta let them breathe. We gotta let them rev.
I think we should do. You're right. I think you've convinced me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you now partner with me. So we'll do it your way. We'll put the rev limiter where you want, and you'll supply the engines.
Supply them?
Yeah, built to this spec, and you'll bring it, and then you can set the rev limiter wherever you want it. How's that?
Well, I mean, then what? Like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm the hired gun, right? So I'm supposed to be the hired gun here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then you close mouth, twist throttle. I'll provide the bike.
Well,
keep.
No, I think
keep this open. Here's what you do. Keep this open longer, and don't touch this.
I know. I think this brake the rev limiter topic I think is really important. I think we need to really consider letting this thing breathe a little bit, letting it rev a little higher. It's just killing it. Like it's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah. You know he's right. I remember that video that we put up at the heat race with all the big guns where Sammy was behind him and he just like passed him, and the bike was just killing him while he was taking the lead and pulling away.
Just hitting the limiter, just
yeah,
so
on that
frustrating.
limiter, just stretching the lead. It was just killing him. He just couldn't win by like in a 6-lap heat. He couldn't win by a whole lap. He only won by a straightaway. Yeah, it's killing him. You're right.
It's keeping me up at night. I was talking to some tuners, some legendary tuners in this sport, and they're not like in this rev limiter situation. They think we gotta pull that off, and we gotta, they say, hey, you know what you're doing, Sammy. You've been doing this your whole life. You know what you're doing. We never had no rev limiters. We just racing a Rotax. Like as long as the damn thing starts pumping oil.
All right. Well, tell them to build the Rotax that can beat this one and no rev limiter, and we'll see.
We gotta at least man, if I'm gonna race this thing, something's gotta change. We can't be hitting the limiter like where we were, just coming off the corner halfway down the straightaway. Well,
there are some discussions that riders don't need to be privy to that have gone on that I think you're gonna like next time you race it. So
as long as I'm not on that chip.
You're not going to be on it as much.
So how much higher are we going? We're bumping the rev limiter higher. Where are we at right now? We bumped it from what to what at the last race?
I don't think that we really need. This is not something we. This is private.
Top secret flat track factory stuff.
Yeah. You and I talk.
Come on, dude. No one else has got a Rotax with a rev limiter.
Well, apparently, you've got all these guys that know everything about Rotaxes.
I mean, and Mies is talking about actually coming out with Buddy on Buddy's Rotax for the Southeast Flat Track season opener. So we might have a showdown with old Slammer and the Jammer on the Rotaxes.
Yeah, well, that'd be good.
But if we can strike a deal, because right now I can't ride it the way it is.
Yeah, well,
it goes against everything that.
I think you might be riding this then. Sammy, you know that girl flies. You just don't like the way it sounds because you have 450 brain.
Neither do our followers. They don't want to hear the limiter. We want this Rotax to rev like it's meant, like it was designed to rev.
No, it wasn't. It never was designed to rev.
More than it is now. Yeah,
it's revving. It's revving $9,000, dude. $9,000 with a piston bigger than your P brain.
I'm good with 10. I want 10.6, but we can do 10, and if we can agree on 10. Well, yeah, no one's gonna get to see me race the thing if you have the freaking stupid rev limiter in there.
No, you can't. You can't say no. You want to ride it so bad you can taste it. That's why you're breaking my balls. And I would love. I can't wait to see Buddy. I hope he brings it out because he's been talking about it for years and years and years. That would be so fun. I love Mr. Buddy so much. It would be great to have that camaraderie and break each other's balls and talk smack back and forth.
That would be cool, especially with Mies on it. So Mies and I could be razzing each other on the Rotaxes.
Yeah. How many times did you crash yesterday when you were riding?
So I didn't crash any times on the left. But I'm practicing my right-handers as we talked about getting ready for Rossi's Ranch, and the tire's bald. It's December. I was really trying to break through and get that next level on the right-hander. So it's tough on the right-handers at Rossi's. They back it in this downhill right-hander, and they take their foot off the brake pedal, and they just lane that thing over. For me, I'm doing it, but like supermoto style with the foot up, trying to force myself to take my foot off. So yesterday I was really practicing sending it in there, throwing it over, taking
kind of setting it on the brake with your foot on the peg, and then
but like taking the foot off early, really forcing you to take your foot off early when normally I'd be using the brake like halfway into the turn, taking it off and then just laying it over. But then you got to really like shove it over to get it on the side of the tire to then like continue the slides to where in the middle of the corner the transition stays like sliding and going off, versus like it's easy to like go in there, take your foot off, and then the bike kind of hooks up and stands up and then rides through the middle, and then you're like running wide. So yeah, I was working on that a bit, and this thing, we gotta cut the lock stops on this because it hits the lock stop so easy.
Is this a story where you're finally going to tell me that you wadded ass twice?
Yeah, I did crash twice on the right, and the second time it was pretty spectacular. I was like hit the lock stops and then like flicked me, and I flipped, but I did karate when I was a kid. My parents had me do karate. I don't know if I was probably not black belt, but I had some kind of belt, and I did a full like karate roll. Didn't hit my head on the ground, luckily. But I was leaving there. I was like, "What? I just need to learn to chill the f out. I'm getting too old to ride like that, but I need to chill out and like just get my laps in." But I'm trying to push and get better at the right-handers, which is tough.
What's going on with those guys? You know, I just see. You know, I've ridden with you quite a bit here and there over the years and watched, and you know, I just know your level. And then I see these guys gapping you on these right-handers, you know, on ostensibly a flat track bike. I'm like, what is their secret over there?
Dude, I mean, part of it is like the VR46 guys. They ride there a bit. It's like a full road race course, but on slippery dirt, and they ride there a lot. They're dialed in. They're world-class athletes.
Yeah, they don't suck.
They're world-class athletes, and and that's how they train. Even the Spanish riders come up. The Spanish riders are so good too, because they train at Rocco's Ranch, which is just like, it's the stuff we don't have. It would be like your buddy Aaron's track, but on steroids, actually legit, full size with all the rights and lefts. We need a full road race course, but for dirt track is what we need.
I can't imagine just the maintenance time, hours, and budget just to maintain that. Didn't you say that his track is actually on dirt on top of concrete?
Yeah.
So the whole track is actually concrete.
Yeah, with dirt on top, like that's Daytona slippery dirt on top of concrete. Yeah. Curbing, just like a road race course, everything. It's just, all right, well, I think it was a pretty good team meeting. We agreed that something's got to change. We're on the fence because we got to negotiate a little bit more, I think, but he knows where I stand. I think it's a good start. We got to be at least over 10K if we're going to race it. You got to get that clapped out. You don't even have a cap on your brake reservoir because you fell off at the last race. So
you knocked it off.
Okay.
It was on there when the bike went out.
Yeah, okay. Why is the exhaust pipe dented too? I thought that was like a high-tech handmade exhaust.
I wish when you had decided to fall off and put your face in the dirt, you would have put it between the bike and the dirt. Instead, so
damn,
we got to pull out a fresh bullet on that. Of course, you know, that's handmade. You know, you don't buy that.
Yeah, you can probably straighten that. I think you can work on that, straighten that.
Dale hooked me up with the guy that makes custom exhausts, kind of north of him, so I'm gonna take it up there and see if he can either copy it or.
Maybe we should wait till after the next race, because could take some more dents, you know.
I tell you what, you crash this thing again, you just better start running into the woods. And hope you can run faster with a head injury than I can run with a broken neck.
How many times have I crashed it now?
That's just not...
I think just twice, right? Yeah, just twice.
Just
twice. Blew up once, so I didn't blow up, but one time the electrical problem.
Okay, my fault. Yep.
One time, twice crash. But if we count the one time I tried it at that local race, I tried it in practice at the local race, and it was running like shit.
Oh, yeah.
I think
that's before we figured out that it wasn't the harness.
So I think we're even then if we include that. We're 2 for 2. 2 races where it was crapping out, 2 races where I...
That's some interesting math you've got going on.
But, what do you think? Do you think you can bump it to 10K?
No. Don't...
Come on, man.
Twist the throttle.
Dude,
don't touch
I'll
the
be
brake.
easy on it. Like, I'll be easy on it. I'll roll it on. I won't just whack it wide open.
No.
I'll use my better judgment.
No. No.
we'll
You don't
even
have
start
judgment.
like I'll even make some agreement where if it blows up, I'll put some money on it.
Don't worry.
How high are we going on this rev limiter, Mike? Michael.
You gotta
Michael.
stop. You need to change the subject here. You're pissing me off.
All right. Well, we are asking the fans opinions. Please comment. What do you think on the rev limiter situation? I mean,
I'm not even listening to
he
you.
has a
I hear
fair
your
point.
fucking mouth
680
going, and I'm
Rotax.
ignoring you.
But
Tired of your bullshit.
I'm not talking to you, Michael.
Shut up.
We're asking the fans'
Fucking
opinions
dummy.
in the comments. How high can we rev this thing?
They
I say
don't
for a
know.
short track, it can go 10K. It's briefly up there.
Oh god.
I wouldn't be doing this, but I fielded some calls about it, and it's just like, man, as soon as that thing starts running good, it's just, hitting that damn chip. Like,
We'll tell you what. We'll go to the dyno, and we'll look at where it starts falling off power, and then you can tell me about how much it should be revving past peak power.
thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, it's a pretty solid day. We got a lot done. Got the bike washed. Got the van washed.
Drank some beers.
Beers. Talked some shit. Got a little bit more rubber on this thing.